Hi, I'm Shari with OLTD. Turns out our brains actually like it when we procrastinate because it gives us a boost of positive emotions, and avoiding certain tasks helps us avoid negative emotions. So procrastination is less about organization and productivity and more about our emotions. So if you haven't yet seen them, we have two other videos on procrastination. They're short, they're linked below, and the first one looks at why we procrastinate, and the second shares 3 core foundational ways to overcome it. Now, let's look at a fourth way to overcome procrastination, and that comes from time management gurus. They recommend that we break tasks into smaller chunks. So if we do that, it feels less overwhelming, and that helps us not feel as many negative emotions about that task. So tell yourself you don't need to do the whole thing, just one action, and that helps relieve some of the dread we might be feeling. So even some chores can be broken down into smaller portions. So in the first video, I shared that I need to vacuum my bedroom on allergist's orders every weekend, and that I sometimes put that off. So sometimes I'll tell myself just to do 15 minutes and then stop. And knowing that I can stop after 15 minutes gets me to do it. And the 15 minutes goes by really quickly, and later it's that much easier to pick up and finish because there's less to do. And I do that with exercise sometimes as well. You know those days, sometimes there's a lot of days where you just don't feel like exercising. So on those days, I tell myself I'm just going to do some exercises for a short period of time. And half the time, by the time I start, that's actually motivating, and I end up doing the whole workout anyway. And other times I don't, and I still feel the relief that I did something. I still feel good about myself because I went ahead and exercised. In other words, don't wait until you feel motivated, because that day may never come. And just doing part of it is motivating, and it creates some momentum. Okay, so I'm going to link another video that goes into some other kinds of time management hints just in general, in case that's helpful for you. Our fifth hint comes from the science of habits, because procrastination becomes a habit that's hard to break. And we also have a video on habits that I'll link below in case you're interested. The hint is to remove obstacles. So in other words, you're going to make it harder to do the distracting things that keep you from the task, and you're going to make it easier to do the task itself. So let's say you tend to check social media as one of the ways that you distract yourself from doing tasks. In that case, take your phone, hide it in another room, in a drawer, on airplane mode, anything that just makes it harder and more work to get to it. Meanwhile, you're going to make it easier to do the task itself. And there are 3 ways to do this. So A, you're going to clear your calendar of the things that keep you busy and maybe even productive, but distracted from the task at hand. B, avoid common distractions like email or chatting with colleagues. So you're going to consciously focus on the fact that you're going to avoid those so you can get the task done. And C, you're going to do the task during the time of day when you're most productive. Like, I think best first thing in the morning. That's when my brain is clear and it's much easier for me to focus. So if I schedule time in the morning to do something, I'm much more likely to actually do it than if I schedule time to do it in the afternoon in between meetings. By then I'm kind of tired, and it's way too easy to distract myself doing other stuff before my next meeting starts instead of actually diving into something hard. And going back to doing things in smaller chunks, it creates momentum to start it. So even if I don't have time to complete it, I'm much more likely to pick it up later, even in between meetings, if I started that morning. In earlier videos, you heard me say that procrastination is not about time management. However, we can still take some time management hints to help us deal with the emotions that keep us from doing certain tasks. And for many of us, procrastination becomes a go-to habit. And that's a good thing, because we can change our habits and we can overcome procrastination.